Welcome to the Modern Marketing Loan Officer Podcast, brought to you by the Shining Star Hero Home Buying Program. Each week, successful loan officers share their experiences so that you can grow your mortgage business. Here's your host, Enrique Braunschweiger.
Hey everybody, how are you? Enrique here with First West Financial, and welcome to the Modern Marketing Loan Officer Podcast brought to you by the Shining Star Hero Program. And today I have a very, very special guest. When I started learning about our guest today, I realized I eventually have to figure out a way to get Ginger Bell into our podcast because we talk about all things marketing in this podcast, and we specialize in talking about a specific subject every week. And video is one of those topics that keeps coming up again and again. And today we have probably one of the top experts, not only in video, but mortgage marketing video in the country. Ginger Bell, how are you? Welcome.
Hey, thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Absolutely. Ginger, I am not going to attempt to give a bio of you. I'm going to actually let you take a minute and introduce yourself and tell the people that are watching, the loan officers that are watching, a little bit about you, about what you do and where you come from, and take it away.
Well, thank you for having me on, and hello to everyone who's listening. You know, I love what you're doing here, Enrique, to be able to bring ideas especially for our independent mortgage originators who are running their own business, to think about all the different opportunities with marketing, with branding, with building their business, with products and all of those things. So thank you for doing that. So my background, I have been in the mortgage industry for over 20 years. Prior to getting into the mortgage industry, I was a corporate trainer with Dale Carnegie Training. So I come with a training background, which has been a big focus of everything I've done in the mortgage industry for the past 20 years. And so when I got into the industry, I saw a great opportunity with all the different products, FHA, VA, 203K, to develop education. And I started out developing continuing education, and then with the mortgage meltdown in 2008, we had all the regulations. I developed training around that and have been developing training for a lot of big organizations for 20 years. And last year started getting into, actually 2 years ago now, because we're into 2022, really focusing on helping originators do video. Mm-hmm. Prior to, I've worked with brokers for a long time. I've worked in wholesale for a long time. But really, I think for me, over the past 2 years, one of the most rewarding things has been able to figure out what originators need, specifically brokers. It's like, what do you need? What can we help with? Where are those holes in your business that we need to fill to help you to grow, to help you to build, to make your life easier? And so that's kind of who I am. It's like I always say, I have a tattoo on my forehead, too dumb to quit. And so it's like, I don't know, let's figure out. So I've been using video in my business for really starting with webinars back in probably 2007, 2008, and then getting into video beyond that. So I believe in putting together education and marketing, and that's why the business is called edumarketing.
Perfect. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about your business towards the end, because we want to tell people a little bit more about specifically how you help loan officers. But I can see that you and I have something in common. We're both video marketing evangelists, right? We tell anybody that will listen about video. And it can be a little frustrating for me, because I started doing video a couple of years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago, and I had to overcome a lot of barriers. So today we're going to spend time talking about this particular subject. We're going to spend time, probably the next 20, 25 minutes talking about this. But for those who have listened to our podcast before, or those who are new, you'll know that part of the reason why I do this is because as a loan originator, when we start the process of becoming a loan officer, loan originator, or an LO, like we like to call ourselves, we sign up because we want to be able to make some money, help people, do some mortgages. What we don't realize is that pretty soon, in order for us to grow, we have to learn a lot of other things. We have to become accountants. We have to become marketers. We have to learn about Facebook and video and social media. We have to learn about compliance. It's almost like we have all these other tasks that we didn't sign up for. So as a result of it, loan officers sometimes lack certain skills or lack certain areas because we really didn't know about this, right? I mean, I get loan officers that call me all the time and say, Enrique, what camera do you use? Who edits your video? How do I get started? Or, They call me about who's doing your accounting or who's doing your compliance. That's the challenge. Even loan officers that work for companies sometimes feel a little bit by themselves. So this podcast is here to encourage you, especially in the area of marketing. This is a really difficult area because most of us are not marketers, and we have to learn to do it ourselves with whatever resources we have. So Ginger, thank you. So video, we know it's essential. I don't think we need to spend any time talking about how essential and important video is, but we know that it is a big obstacle, right? Loan officers are struggling trying to figure out how to do this. Why is that, Ginger, in your opinion?
Well, I think it's like there are several reasons why they're struggling. The number one is just the fear. When I worked at Dale Carnegie, we taught, overcoming the fear of public speaking. And so now it's overcoming the fear of doing a video.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because it's permanent. And then the other thing with video, and people always say this, like, I don't like how I look on video. And it's funny because that's how you look and people love you.
People
And
already know what you sound like.
they already know. They already know what you look like. They already know what you sound like. They already love you. It's just you haven't seen yourself in that dimension.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to love yourself. And
Right.
so get over that. So I think
have a theory, Ginger.
Yeah.
I have a theory. I think there's two types of loan officers that the ones that are more reluctant with video are a little older than, say, 39, 40 years old. And part of the reason is I'm 56 and I grew up watching TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
And TV was a big deal. If you were on TV, it was like a big deal. Like nobody was on TV, right? Like only movie stars were on TV.
Right.
So to me, the moment somebody turns the camera on, it's scary, right? Where younger people, they're born with a camera in their hand.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them 10, 15, 20 years already with cameras on their phone. So it's a lot more natural for them to be in front. I mean, you watch some of these TikToks and I go, I'm so embarrassed for them, but they're not embarrassed for themselves because, it's natural to them. It's like us talking on the phone, right? They don't like to talk on the phone. We like to talk on the phone. They don't like to do video. They like to do video. I think there's an age difference. And I think television had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I think that's very true. I think there's a lot of things as far as whatever it is as far as doing it. A lot of times it is that perfectionism within us that we want to make sure we get it perfect, that we look perfect, that we're saying, and if you can overcome that, it's like, okay, that's how I look. I'm just going to deal with that. Then it gets into what you're saying. And to make sure that what you're saying sounds good, is accurate. You don't want to come off as stupid, all of those things. And it's permanent. The reality is the videos that you should be making are daily conversations that you're having with borrowers, with real estate agents. It's just recorded. And that's it. And so, what the first thing is, get over yourself. We all know what you look like and we're okay with that. It's funny. I was watching a video with Adele, and Adele went through this drastic weight loss after through her divorce. And during the interview, she said, I think that the reason that I became so popular and people felt so comfortable with me was that I wasn't perfect.
Exactly.
And that's it. We have this idea of perfect in our mind. But people actually do feel more comfortable with you if you do make the mistake, if it is not perfect. And I think especially through COVID and the pandemic, we've all become a lot more accepting with the fact that it doesn't have to be perfect.
Exactly.
And so, that's the first thing, is get over yourself. That's how you look. And think about the conversations that you normally have, because those are conversations that you should be putting on video.
Yeah, something that actually opened the door for lack of perfection is COVID. We got to watch the Tonight Show on a $20 webcam that somebody was doing, right? We get to see the nightly news where the weather reporter is at home in his living room and the dog is running around barking, and out of the blue, the barrier came down. This fear of perfection came down. And now we have to adapt to that and realize that, hey, we can do that too, right? We don't have to be perfect. Now, something you said very interesting, because you talked about, what should we recording? You said we should be talking about conversations, maybe answering the questions that people have. Somebody calls and says, hey, how many years out of bankruptcy do I have to wait? Hey, there's a video, right? Tell me more. What are really the topics? What are some of the subjects for the person that is afraid, for the person that doesn't know what to say to get started? What are some of those basic concepts that we can give them when they want to get started with video?
Well, you know, a friend of mine, Scott Shang, always says, go to your inbox. It's like,
Right. Scott
go
Smart.
to your inbox.
Yeah.
Or, go to a Facebook group. There's a lot of Facebook groups out there that are for realtors, that are for consumers. Find out what people are asking.
Right.
And then the other thing is there's a great site to go to that we use a lot that's called Answer the Public.
Oh,
And from that, you can type in, like if you go to Answer the Public and you just type in mortgage, then it will tell you what people are searching for. And it'll give you the who, what, where, how, why. And you can put in your area. So if you want to say, what are people searching for in, California, then you can put that in and it'll tell you. But if you go in and you can, find out what people are searching for. The other thing is updates. It's been interesting as we've gotten into creating YouTube channels for our clients is to find out what are the top videos. And some of the top videos are not anything that is like staggering. It's not like super complicated. It's loan limit increases. It's FHA updates. It's first time home buyers. Like how much money do I need for a down payment? How do I save money to buy a house? How do I get rid of private mortgage insurance? People are going to YouTube to search for this
for those
information.
answers. Absolutely.
And
I have
that's
a YouTube channel and I record these great videos that I think are going to get a lot of hits because I have these great ideas. I have a couple of videos, a few videos that are in the 3,000 range of views, and the questions, the topics of those videos are the least likely. I have one that's called "How to Avoid Being House Poor," and that's got the most number of views of all of my videos. So here I spend hours trying to figure out how to explain FHA financing,
Right.
and yet people want to know how to. Oh, here's another one: how to buy a house with one income.
Yeah.
Tons of views, right? Tons of views.
Yeah.
I have another one on same-sex couples, how to buy a house if you're a
Yeah.
same-sex couple. Tons of views. Where other ones that you think they're going to be phenomenally popular, they're not. People want to know what they want to know, just like you and I.
Yeah,
Now,
it's specific too. It's like, I have a couple clients that we do their videos in Spanish. And so, one of the topics in the recording for Danny was about, the age to buy a house. And I
oh,
said, and he said that, he goes, I get this question a lot. And I'm like, well, don't most people know they have to be 18? And he says, no, no,
no,
no. The other side, people think they're too old
they're too old to buy a house.
to
Yeah,
buy a house.
it's
And so
amazing
it's
at
like,
what people want to know, right?
really? And
Yeah.
and so top things. I did a video years ago. I did an interview with an underwriter, and we had used it in a course that I had done, as far as I think it was an NMLS licensing course. And I was going through some old files and found it, and I, emailed my underwriting friend that we had done the video with, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just ran across this old video. And I said, do you have a YouTube channel? I'll post it. And he's like, no. And I said, okay, I'll post it on my YouTube channel. So I posted on my YouTube channel, thousands of views.
That was
And
my introduction to you.
comment
That's how I got to know about you the first time. Is
from
that
that.
video?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it's like,
the interview with the underwriter. Yeah.
and that was so long. I mean, that was such a long time ago. And I mean, just those kind of things. Who would think people go onto YouTube to search for an interview with an underwriter? Then I get thousands of views, thousands of comments, I mean, hundreds of comments. And I had created a course for a client on training new underwriters. And so I posted in there, hey, I might have someone that's hiring. And I still get people that email me. And I think I posted that video probably 3 years ago. And
Right.
so, and that's the other thing that I love about YouTube, as opposed to your social media, is people are always going. And even though you had a video that was posted a long time ago,
It could be
people
a
are
couple
still
of years
doing
ago.
it.
They're still very
They're
popular. That is
still
correct.
very popular. It's like I did a ton of TRID training back in 2015 with TRID, and I still have videos that people find that are new to the industry
That are
that
informative. Yeah.
had it, yeah, and I'll get I'll get a comment from one of the videos, it's like, hey, this is the best video we've seen out there on TRID. And it's like, I forgot about TRID. you know?
Right. Right.
So that's the great thing too, when you're making content, you may think, gosh, does anybody really know about this? Does anybody want to know about this? And so you kind of have to play around with it,
And see what works.
and see what works, right?
Right, absolutely. Now, I appreciate you sharing with me already about the topics. We know that the topics are going to be related to the things that you're comfortable with, the things that you know, the questions that your borrowers have, things that are that come up the most, right? So we know that. I met with one of my loan officers once, and he wanted to know, well, where do I start with video? And I said, well, divide several subjects. Go credit, income, assets, and property, just like a 1003 application. And when it comes to credit, come up with 5 questions that people want to know, and 5 questions about that. So next thing you know, you have 30 topics now that you can go out and record video, and that's super important. Now, the second thing is, now that we know the topic, so how do we get started? Do we record a short video? I want to be super specific for those that are watching. What do I do first, and where do I put it? Do I put it on Facebook? Do I put it on Instagram? Do I put it on YouTube? What's the shortcut? If you had to do it over again, where would you start?
So if I became, say I'm licensed today and I'm going to start my own business, I'm going to get started, I'm going to, whatever it is, start my own YouTube channel. First thing is YouTube. Start a YouTube channel, and make sure that you set it up that it's not about your corporation, but it needs to be about something that people are searching for. So make it very friendly to someone that is looking for information.
Mm-hmm.
And then have a good banner, make sure you have your YouTube, your thumbnails and all that kind of stuff. And then make the list, just like what you said. Honestly, and I love that, just going down the application and saying, okay, here's the questions that people have. How do you complete it? Why do you complete an application?
Right.
That's the thing. And I would make a list of topics. And so I would make a list of topics, and then honestly just start recording.
And when you record a video, how long? Are we talking 3 minutes, 4 minutes at the most? If you're going to go, let's say you're going to start with Facebook, which is the most popular place for people to get started, right? It has to be short, right?
So if you're going to get started on social media tends to like shorter videos. And so anywhere, TikTok, anything under a minute, for Facebook, same thing. You want to keep them under a minute. So the things you're doing, if you're just going to do just what's happening on social media, then you want to start with shorter. And then you want to make sure too, so 2 different rules of thumb. If you're recording on social media only, and you're recording from your phone and you're posting it, then you want to make sure you're recording where your phone is vertical. If you're recording for YouTube, then you want to make sure that you're recording to where your phone is horizontal. So those are the 2 rule of thumbs. Honestly, what we do though, we record, we put it onto YouTube, and then we take that same organic video and either we'll make it shorter if we need to make it shorter for Instagram or something, or we'll just post that onto all the social media channels, and we're seeing good results. Here's the thing too, the length of the time honestly is not as important as the content. If you have good content that people are engaged in, they will watch it.
You watch it even if it's a little longer, right?
Even if it's a little longer. And there's different things. Like if you're going to get into the TikTok algorithm, then there's certain things you need to keep there, but you want to use that to push them someplace else, like your YouTube channel. So having that entire plan and strategy in place is really what works, because one leads to another to another. The other thing that you want to think about, it's not just, okay, I have a YouTube channel, how come I'm not, getting anything from it? It takes time.
It takes time. Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to be posting consistently. YouTube is just like Netflix. They're going to serve up a show to their subscribers and they consider you their subscribers. You are a customer of YouTube. And so if they're going to serve a show up, which is your YouTube channel, they want to know that you have good content, that people are engaged, and that you're consistent. And so,
Mhm.
just like with Netflix, you have an episode, right? So you have how many different, of those shows in an essay of season one, how many episodes are in that? Season two, how many episodes that?
Right.
So, in order to get into the YouTube algorithm, you have to have that consistency.
Now, I want to go back to consistency in a second, but I wanted to share with you that's what happened to me with YouTube. One of the things, I'm like you, I don't quit. So one of the things that I do is I record that YouTube video. So for a long time, it's like 10 views, 20 views, 20, 10. It's incredible how I still recorded 50 videos in the first year or
Yeah.
51 videos. And my average was like 20, 30 views. And I never got discouraged. And I know some people in my life say, well, maybe we got to try something else. And I said, look, it takes me 15 minutes to record. Let's keep doing it.
Yep.
And then on the second year, we started getting some success. But then out of the blue, I hit something happened. There was one video that I posted, the one I was telling you about, and that changed the game for me. So now, right off the bat, when I post a YouTube video, even though I'm nowhere near some of the numbers that some of my colleagues are doing, but for me, it's really exciting that in the first couple of days, now I'm getting anywhere between 300 and 500 views. So that tells me now I have an audience. Now people are either going back because they're getting the notifications. I have a lot more subscribers, but the consistency has been very important. So I'm going to talk about that in a second. I was talking to Ryan Eller a year ago, and we talked about the importance of things. And I said, to me, the least important thing is the equipment part. Yeah. I have an iPhone.
Yep.
I have one of these.
Yep.
I don't know. Hold on. Let me see. One of these that I paid $30 for.
Yeah.
I have a microphone, lapel microphone that plugs into my phone. That cost me about $25. So I got started with under $100.
Yep.
Now I do have a green screen over here because now I'm a little more invested in it. So I do green screen videos and so on, but you don't have to have one. So that's the least important thing. Yeah. Then the second most important thing is what you just said, not necessarily the length, but the content, right? Making sure the content's relevant. I think the most important thing is the consistency part.
Yeah.
Would you agree on that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The consistency, when you think about when you're making your phone calls to your realtors and right?
Right.
If you have, Tuesday's a call that you're making your calls. And if you miss one day and 1 week, you don't do it. And then you get back on track but if you miss 2 weeks, pretty soon those realtors, it's like they forget about you. It's the same thing with your videos.
Mm-hmm.
So having that consistency is important, and it's not hard. I mean, I honestly have some clients that I will do a 30-minute call with once a month. We will knock out 4 videos and then they're done. And then, we'll take over and we'll edit and produce and everything else. So it doesn't have to be complicated for you.
Right.
And your phone, my gosh, most of us are walking around with $1,000 camera in our pocket. Right. So, I mean,
you also have to find what works for you. Some people are very comfortable with like the Instagram stories. I love those Instagram stories. I've been doing them a lot lately. A lot of people like YouTube a lot. But I think, you know what, if you're just getting going, Facebook, a little bit of Instagram, and starting with YouTube is not a bad mix. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm a little crazy because I like to overdo everything. But even in video, I don't think I overdo it. So like I have my Monday Mortgage Minute that goes out to all my realtors. I have a FICO Friday that I do. I do my Shining Star Hero program on Wednesdays and Mondays. And then I do personal video. And then I also have a couple of other segments that I do that allow me to stay in front of people. So I record, 10, 12 videos a week. I usually come in every other weekend to knock them all out, but I'm very committed to it. I think that's a big part of the success I'm having with video is that I'm fully in. But you don't have to do those many, right? A couple of videos a week for those that are starting, Ginger?
Yeah, I mean, the thing of it is, too, you honestly could do one video, post it on YouTube, and then post it on your social media channels, and then send that out to your CRM and use it to make your calls. You don't have to do a whole bunch of different videos. I love your, Monday mortgage minute, your FICO Friday. I mean, you can do those kind of things as far as coming up with a brand for it. And people like that.
Mhm.
People like the consistency of it, and they will look for it. We think that it's too much, but really it isn't. And I know it isn't. When I first got started as an account executive and I worked for a wholesale lender, and I was building my business. This is before video. And I did Friday Fun Facts. And I would send out an email and I would send it out every Friday. And I did two things with it. And you could do something like this along with video, and you could ask a question. And so, I'd ask a question, people would answer it, and then I would give a fun fact. And I knew it was working when one Friday I got busy and I didn't send it out. And this is before we had automated CRMs and all this other stuff. So I had to manually do it. And I got busy and didn't send it out. And I got so many emails from people saying, "Where's your Friday Fun Facts? I'm sitting by my email waiting for it." It's like, are you kidding me? You're sitting by your email waiting for my Friday Fun Facts?
That gives you a lot of encouragement, right? When people tell you that.
People like the consistency, and they really. And again, I wrote the mortgage video planner, which gives you one video topic every week. And in 2021, I said, okay, I'm going to do one video a week that shows how to use the planner. And so every week I would send that out. And I was talking to someone a couple of weeks ago, and they said, "Oh my gosh, I absolutely love that you tell us every week what to say." It's like,
What to say?
oh,
Absolutely.
you're watching them. It's like,
Yeah, absolutely. Now I'm
you're
gonna go
watching
there
it.
next. I want to talk about that, and I want to give you the opportunity to share with people what is it that you're doing for loan officers. So I think we've covered a lot of ground. I think we've covered the idea of being consistent, not being afraid, of not having to get too complicated with the topic, not having to be perfect is terribly important because otherwise you're never going to publish those videos. You don't even really need a lot of production now. Some of you, there's a lot of software you can use, but most of us are just I'm very lucky that I have someone that helps me with this, but you don't really need a lot of production or logos. People watch the video, they move on to something else. So we cover all that, but I can tell you it's very exciting when people finally you start realizing that you're creating an impact. This past, the day before yesterday, Saturday, I met a young couple. They're in their mid 20s and they're friends of one of my clients and they're buying their first home, and I brought them in the office, which is something I rarely do. And I wanted to make sure they were very young, and I wanted to make sure they knew exactly what they were getting themselves into with an FHA loan. And when I started talking about mortgage insurance, I said, "Have you ever heard of mortgage insurance?" He goes, "Yes, because I saw your video." And I said,
There you
"Oh,
go.
wow, that's really exciting because you have that first-time buyer channel. I saw that before I came here. Last night, we watched some of your videos." And I said, "Well, which ones did you watch?" And he goes, "I don't know." And she says, "We watched like 10."
Yeah,
And
they
then I
did
realized that
watch
20
you.
something, that's what they do. They sit
Yeah.
there and watch YouTube videos. So these guys became educated. They watch one on FHA. They watch one on how to pick the right house. They watch one on home inspections and home appraisals. They watch it on. So this guy show up to my appointment and they already know exactly what I'm going to tell them because they watch the videos. That gave me
You've
a lot of
already
encouragement,
trained
right?
them. Yeah,
Right.
you've already
Very good.
educated them.
Now,
I
Ginger,
love it.
let's take a second because I know this is really important, and we usually try not to turn this podcast into anything other than just giving and sharing with people. But I think that what you do and the way you do it and how affordable it is, I think is terribly important. So now I actually purchased your books before you even knew me or before we even talked. So
Thank
this leadership one, I've been recording this video. So I'm on week 3 now. And
Sweet.
basically what it does is it gives me a topic, right? So my staff, I send this to my staff and they go, "Wow, you're writing so many, you come up with so great ideas." And I go, "No, Ginger does," right? Ginger and also Bo Jackson, right? So
Exactly.
this is great. But then for the people that don't know about topics, that are worried about topics, this one is also the mortgage video planner. I got the first edition. Wow. So every single topic that you can think of, first-time buyer, first-time home buyers, investors, rural, what is USDA, general topics, phenomenal. And they're so affordable. You can find them on Amazon, right?
Yeah, they're both on Amazon. And the idea, the video planner, the mortgage video planner came because I had friends that are originators that say, "Okay, Ginger, you're talking about doing video. We need to do video. We know that. What do we talk about?" I said, "Okay, if I just gave you one topic every week and a form to be able to write it down and fill it out. Would that help? And they're like, yeah. So that's how I wrote the mortgage video
I
planner.
love it. So you actually talk about the subject, and then you say, what is the topic idea of your video? And then you say, what is the opening hook? And then the 3 points, kind of like Matt Ishbia when he talks about the 3 points. He
Yep.
probably stole that from you. And what do you want your viewers to do after watching the video? So you're like a call to action, right?
Yep.
So you want people to say, hey, don't forget to call me. Don't forget to do this. This is phenomenal. This is absolutely, for anybody that is looking to get into video, man, I would recommend this any day of the week. And I don't recommend a lot of product. This is phenomenal. Tell us a little bit about your company, because you do the whole service for people who really want to get into video. They don't have to do it, but if they really want to get to that level, you offer that service, right?
Yeah, I mean, we started offering the service, we started out with the planner. It's like, okay, I'll give you an idea as far as what to do. And then we had people say, okay, we made the video. Now what do we do? And I'm like, well, post it on your YouTube channel. We don't know how to do that. So we just started putting things together. We did a beta group during COVID, and honestly just saying, what do you guys need? Where are your challenges? And it began with the content. So we have our toolbox, which they get monthly scripts. So we get 4 video scripts every month: a refi, a purchase, a product, and a process. So if you want to just use a script and record your video, you can use a teleprompter that goes onto your phone, your $1,000 camera, and record a video, and you can post that. And then we had a lot of people saying, okay, we don't want to record it. We want to record it. We don't want to edit it. Can you do that? So then we created our virtual video.
So you grew and grew and grew, right? So
yeah, and it was just out of a need. It's kind of like, and now we're getting into the short videos for social media and kind of how that works. So just a lot of it is just honestly, and that's kind of how the kind of person I am, and why I love our industry so much, is just figuring out where can we educate. I've always believed in education. That's why I built my business around edumarketing, is taking education and marketing and putting them together. And that's the most powerful thing you can do. And you said something, and I love this about you and your show and what you do. There's 2 ways to give in life. And my son, I have a 27-year-old, he's a 3 Palm Eagle Scout, and I always taught him there's 2 ways to give in life. You can give palm up, where you're expecting somebody to give you something back in return. Or you can give palm down, to where you're truly giving. And that's what doing these videos is about. Do you know who's going to watch those videos? No. But just like the couple that came in to your office, they binged watched you. I mean,
yeah.
and that's what it is. And so it can come back in ways that you never thought. So what I always say, if you're getting started, no matter what your level is as far as experience, if you specialize in VA and FHA and first-time home buyers and investment, I mean, whatever, just start sharing it.
Right.
And that's part of, I always write in all my books, always pass on what you have learned, good, bad, or otherwise.
100%. 100%. Yeah. And I know that obviously you have this company and you have these planners, but I know that I'm not wrong when I say that, yes, you would love for people to call you and sign up. But hey, look, if it doesn't work out that way, just get started with video. You're a firm believer that the loan officer needs to do this as part of their everyday marketing. We don't even call it marketing. It's just part of being out there, right? It's like learning about credit, learning about 1003s, getting good at calculating income, posting videos on social media so people know who you are. It's basic loan officer 101. We want people to get over, like you say, get over it, right? So we appreciate really you being here and sharing. We could actually do this for several hours and never finish all the topics related to video. But tell us, Ginger, if people want to learn more about your company, what is your website? What is the best way for them to find you?
Yeah, so absolutely get started on video. 2 different ways you can do that. You can go to our website. We have a lot of resources there that you can use. We actually have toolkits that we've made for equipment. So if you're wanting to know what kind of equipment to get, you can get that. We do a weekly post as far as information on what to do, how to record, all those kind of things. And that's at edumarketing.com. So edumarketing.com. And then the second thing that we have is a mortgage video mastermind Facebook group. And we do a call once a week. It's a live call, and I do it with Scott Shang and Carl White and Jason Frazier and Frank Garay's on there. And we have guests. We need to have you on there. And so that's mortgagevideomastermind.com. And that's a Facebook group that we have. And that's all things video. So we talk about what you need to be doing for video,
Absolutely.
have different people on there talking about what they're
And
doing.
people can just go to the Facebook and sign
Yeah.
up for that. There's no, you don't have to be
Yep.
member or anything like that. Yeah. So Carl White is one of my mentors, one of the people that I look up to the most. And I've
Yep.
known Carl for a long time. And I remember he was one of the pioneers where he was giving away camcorders. You remember that? Giving away camcorders if you went to it. And he's a firm believer in video, you know, and he's funny because he talks about the fact that, hey, look how I sound, look how I look, and I'm on video every single day. He's not afraid, right?
No.
He's shared with me personally how he had to get over a lot of those things because he doesn't like the way he sounds. He doesn't like the way he looks. But hey, you know what? He also needs to make money because he's got kids to put through college, he said, you know, and video was a great way to do that.
And
So
he has
I love
such
Carl for
great
that reason.
information to share. And the thing of it is too, and Carl will tell you this, him doing videos is what got his business to the level it is, because
100%.
videos, when you do video, you feel like you know someone.
Yeah.
When you do video, they come up to you and they know you. And, you know, I mean, you talk about Ryan, and he's the pioneer. I mean, he started doing YouTube at the very, very beginning. And, you know, he's talked about being in the grocery store and having, you know, realtors come up to him and say, oh my gosh, I know.
I see your videos. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen your videos. And they do. They feel like they know you.
Right.
And
Very
so
true.
that's what video does for you, is it puts that person to where people can have that experience with you without having met you for the first time.
The people from BombBomb call it humanizing relationships, right? Because over the years we have dehumanized the relationship with emails and text messages, and you know, and now we go back and humanize it by using those same techniques: the video, the email, the text messages, the phone, and now we're bringing the human side of it again. Well, Ginger, I cannot thank you enough for being here. Anybody wants to learn more about Ginger, go to her website, go to the Facebook page. All you have to do is just type her name on Facebook. It shows up. And I want to thank everybody for watching and listening. And we hope to see you again soon. We have some amazing guests booked for the next few weeks. So we'll come back soon. Ginger, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.